Just a week ago, we had a pretty interesting Australian Grand Prix with damp conditions. Well, right now that doesn't seem to be the case, but let's just hope that we'll still get plenty of action here tonight. Welcome along, everybody, to the Tier 3 Championship We've round 4 for Breakout Racing League Season 9, and we have arrived at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. I had to make sure I said that right, because I definitely would have gotten that wrong. Luckily, that isn't the case, so we are good. But yeah, we are here for round 4, and while this is a very, very historic track that we have arrived here tonight, I need to pull up the track map because I don't know how many corners there are around here. We do have one DRS zone. That is a guarantee. One which is down the main straight going into what is technically turn 2, as turn 1 is just the slight right-hand kink after the main straight. But we've got a total of 19 corners that make up this historic track. It used to be 21, but they got rid of what was that that chicane at the end of the lap, and now it is just simply flat. And that obviously, well, it's still there, but it will still be, like, we will not be racing on that layout. We'll just have to see, though, what these drivers can do on this certain layout. I'm trying to pull up the standings here, so just give me a minute. I'm a little bit off right now, but that's purely because I'm just a little underprepared. I don't know. I was just dealing with some stuff, but don't worry, I will develop it pretty quickly. And I'm being told that it is a dry race that we have in store for us today, so it's an all-dry track, an all-sunny day here in Imola. We'll just have to see what the race has in store for us here tonight. Now, going over to the championship, as I finally have it pulled up. Right now, it is currently the Mercedes of Gary that still leads the championship. He's the only driver that has finished on the podium in every single race. He sits at 61 points, 14 ahead of one underdog in the AlphaTauri, in which he managed to grab a second place last week. Redeemer sits in third, just 1 point ahead of Jordster. We'll see if Redeemer can possibly try and catch up to the top 2, and maybe if Jordster, who is here tonight in the McLaren, can try and catch himself back up. Gert in the Alfa Romeo, he managed to pick up a podium last week. We'll see if he can do it again. He currently sits in 5th ahead of Echo, which Echo has just been pretty much there, to put it simply. We'll see if he can do anything to possibly be up with his teammate. We'll have to find out. Stig lines up in 7th, in which he is the first man to have a DNF has points. Yeah, but he is 7 points with 22 points, respectively. Nava in 8th after grabbing a pretty respectable 4th place. Then it's Butters in 9th, Shredder rounding out the top 10. And so far we've had a total of 14 drivers to have scored a point this season. We'll see if we possibly get any more point scorers here tonight, but right now we got to get through qualifying. Right now, Jordster setting a pretty good lap time right there with a 1:17.0, already 2.2 ahead of Quicktongue, so that could already be challenged here tonight if I can possibly try and scroll. Well, Gary right now currently nowhere near that, though it looks like he is going to go on another lap. But it's going to be an interesting race here, because this track is not really known for overtaking. That's really, well, there is a huge DRS zone, of course, and, well, that can definitely promote with overtaking, but it's a bit of a tight track, and if we all saw Realistic yesterday, it's a bit of a tricky track. So it's gonna take these drivers a bit to get used to this, and see who is gonna be the one to master this track, really. And I might as well pull up the chat. Hello, everybody. Well, in the chat right now, and there's already a bit of a prediction right here from Arabian Killer. Gary P1, Quicktongue P2, Deemer P3. Well, that's pretty bold. I mean, obviously, Gary being in P1, that wouldn't surprise me, and he won last week and has been on the podium every single race. So he could definitely do it again. Quicktongue P2, I mean, you never know what the AlphaTauri could do. I don't think he has any points this season. No, he does not. His best finish is 11th, but, you know, some things, you can just always get surprised in these types of races. And right now, the big surprise now is that Gary is now just gone provisional pole with the 116.7. That is now 3/10 clear of the next man so far. Though Underdog is currently on a lap. He's at a purple sector 2. And going back over to what your prediction was, P3 for Deemer. Well, he won in Saudi Arabia. Who knows? It could happen. And, claps for life. I believe you're in Tier 3. Well, if you want to join, you can definitely go ahead and just join off of, Gert's profile, or Redeemer's profile, or mine. And, well, if you have any one of us friended, then there you go. So, you are definitely welcome to join at any time. Because obviously you are in the tier itself. And Potato's saying in the chat, well, let's go Redeemer. Yeah, let's see what Redeemer can do. Obviously, he's ahead of his teammate right now in qualifying with a 17.5. They're actually very close, those two drivers. Underdog unable to complete. Oh, that is a Mercedes. Is that of Echo? Yes, it is. Echo spun round at turn 4. Exit at turn 4. Yes. Managed to keep it going, though, so he did not break his front wing. I forgot to introduce myself. I am getting really bad at that. Your host is Minico. There you go. You're welcome. I unfortunately do not have a co-commentator here tonight. I tried to find one earlier, but, well, who said I can't provide a little bit of entertainment myself? That's exactly what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try and provide a little bit more entertainment. And, well, the drivers will definitely help with that. And, oh, Henchman. I haven't seen you in a bit. Hello, Henchman. Well, if you want to rejoin the league, then there you go. And, hello, Wrath. hello, Arabian Killer Rag. Yes, I'm commentating. Again, hello, I'm here. Dying, but I'm here. No, I'm not actually dying. And I'm just here for the fun. Isn't that what we're all here for? I believe we are. So looking over, we've currently have 9 drivers that have set a qualifying lap time. The fastest being, of course, Gary in the Mercedes, once again on provisional pole. 3/10 ahead of Yordstar. Yordstar is, though, on an out lap right now. So we'll see what he can do. I believe that was Frizy? That's just improved up on his lap time, or was that Iceman? It was Iceman. So Iceman improves. He goes up to P8. And currently ahead of his teammate. A little bit close between them. We'll see if Iceman can possibly improve that. He has shown to be pretty good in qualifying. Obviously, the race has not really turned much good fortune, but we'll see what he can do here in Imola tonight. We'll just have to find out. Right now, Nava's going to come across the line as well. Speaking of drivers that are on a lap, Nava's on a lap. We'll see where the Haas can go. P4. Decent lap time there from the Haas. You're saying Tier 3 is sweaty. Yes. I mean, everyone's just trying to be the best. That's pretty obvious. So, yeah. That is why. As for the rest of the grid, I guess just a bunch of people weren't able to make it. We've only got 13 drivers, which is a bit of a shame. I was really hoping to have the streak that I had 2 seasons ago of 15 drivers or more. But unfortunately, that's not the case here tonight. But we can still get plenty of action. That is without a doubt. There's a yellow flag. I believe that is just Iceman having a bit of a moment there. My gamer tag is pretty much... Well, here. I'll just type in the chat right here. It's pretty much the same as that. So just be sure to look that up on Xbox. And that is my gamer tag. So you can join there. Claps. And hopefully we can get 14 drivers. It's just the exact same way, just the one replacing the first I. That's pretty much it. Looking over, Quick Tongue currently on a lap. He's already 6/10 up on his lap time, is the AlphaTauri. I think we might go on a bit of a lap of the track, if I can find someone. Let's see. I believe Stig is currently going up on a lap right now. So why not go on board with him in the Red Bull as he's getting ready to set a qualifying lap around the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Here we go, starting a lap now, down the main straight, and oh, what? Bit of a weird moment there. That might be a bit of a glitch anyways. Now going over to the chicane of Variante Tamburello. And he is really hitting the curves there by the looks of it. And he's managed to keep it nice and clean. Now going over to Villeneuve corner. 5 and 6. A quick left to right. It's a little laggy, but nonetheless. And now going through Toza? Or I don't remember. I don't know the corners anymore. He's kept it pretty clean so far this lap. Now going through Piratella, which is a pretty quick corner. Again, a little bit of lag there, but it looks like he took it quite nicely. Now, Aqua Minerale. This is a very tricky section. He's managed to keep it nice and tidy there. Has the Red Bull. Now, Variante Alta, which is a very tight chicane. I thought he was going to overshoot that. He did not, as a matter of fact. So far, it looks like a pretty decent lap time right now for Stig. We'll see if he can possibly beat Gary or Yorster. By the way, Yorster improved. He went up to a 16.6. Going through Ravazza now is the Red Bull, keeping it very, very safe on the track limits. Where does that Red Bull go, though? It's a 16.7, so nearly beating Gary, but he stays third for now. But it's still a pretty good lap time once again from the Red Bull. And you've sent me a friend request, by the looks of it being an Xbox thing. Here, I shall have a look. Ah, yes, there you are. And there you go. There's your invite claps. Hopefully, you have gotten that. So there you go. Well, first off, hi, Reptile. Nice to see you in the chat once again. Let Crossway Racers race. We have been thinking of that. We definitely have been. But it's just a matter of, well, just trying to find a, just really trying to make sure that everything is okay. As for a team, okay, claps for a team. If I can find the roster right here, I believe you are a reserve. Yes, you are. Honestly, just kind of go in any car you want. Obviously, you guys are in the middle of the session. Just go into any car, really. Obviously, that isn't taken, so down to you. So far, a couple of people on and into the pits. A couple of people on a lap are currently on an out lap. Let's see who is on a lap right now. Looks like Gert has finished a lap. What about Nava? Looks like Nava's on a lap right now. The only driver on a lap right now is the Haas, currently in P5, sandwiching between the two Alfa Romeos. By the way, I forgot to go through the team's championship. Let me go over that real quick. So Mercedes currently leads the field quite comfortably. 31 points between them and Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo in second with 53 points and Mercedes 84. AlphaTauri line up in third with 47 points respectively. And they're going to try and catch Alfa Romeo this weekend. McLaren move up into fourth. And that was Nava nearing an invalidation, but he's managed to escape that. He's going to go... He doesn't improve, actually, so never mind. So, forget that. Alpine are currently in 5th place with 22 points. They're actually tied with Red Bull in the constructor standings right now. We'll see if that could possibly change. And, well, right now, Stay currently lined up in 3rd, and there is no Alpine, no registered Alpine on track. Obviously, Rapid Clappy has gone into the Alpine, but he is only a reserve, so that wouldn't matter too much. Haas currently have 19 points right now. I believe that would be only Nava that has been scoring the team's points. Looking at it, yeah, he's the only driver to have scored points in that very nice-looking Haas. We'll see if he could possibly grab some more points here tonight. Williams and Aston Martin currently tied on points, 2 points respectively for the both of them. Williams just managing to get ahead of Aston Martin last week. We'll see if that could possibly change, and maybe if Ferrari can grab a point or two, as they're the only car to have not scored a point. We'll see if Iceman and Frizy can do that. Right now, they're outside the top 10. So not the qualifying they're looking for. I believe my thing is broken. Nope, maybe not. I guess it's not. Going over to Yortster, and he's just 200s up on his lap time, so we're narrowing near the end of qualifying here tonight. And we'll see if Yortster can beat his pole time. Right now, he is just a little bit up on his lap time, is the McLaren. Right now, he's got a 10th in hand already over Gary, so he is finding as much time as possible. Is the McLaren. This might be his one and only lap to get done here. Where can he put that McLaren? Can he beat his pole time? He does, by quite a decent margin. Found a lot of time in the final sector. A 16-1. That is the time for everyone to beat here. It's going to be difficult. Iceman is coming around the final corner. He is down on his lap time, though I think he might be going again. We'll see who is on a lap time. I think right now Echo and Gary are on a lap time. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2 and Sector 3. I think that might be drivers getting out of the way. Thanks for the wall cam, by the way. Great game. Echo currently 6/10 up on his lap time. Gary, I'm not sure how much up he is on his lap time. That is a Red Bull parked on the track. But hopefully he doesn't get disqualified. By the looks of it, he hasn't. Not sure what Red Bull that was. But now Gary coming around the final corner. Can he beat Yortster to pole position? He's got to find a lot of time. Has he found that time? It just wasn't enough. Gary improves on his time, but not on his position. Meanwhile, his teammate Echo improves on his position, and he goes up to P5 respectively. So once again, another good qualifying there from Mercedes. Going over, I believe that's Rapid Clappy that is currently on a lap right now. He currently sits at 120.3, though he is going to go again by the looks of it. So he's definitely good to go again. Iceman, no, that is Frizy coming around the final corner. I think that's Iceman that is about to finish a lap. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him of the Williams of Days Freak. So I think he's just a little bit too far ahead, and that is too much of the curb. Iceman invalidates his lap time. What was that lap time going to be? It was a 117.7. That would have put him P8. But unfortunately, is not the case. I believe that is Stig that is coming across the line. Barely improves on his time. Does not improve on his position. Does the Red Bull. There we go. Redeemer across the line. Barely improves on his lap time, but it's not enough. Gert abandons his lap, so he is done. What about of Quick Tongue? Doesn't beat his lap time. Qualifying is over, so who can challenge Yortster? Gary isn't able to. Stig isn't able to. Neither does Gert, as I believe that was the coach that just improved on his lap time, and he does. He goes up to P9. The one underdog is on a pretty good lap right now. Can he challenge for pole position? Across the line. It's only P4 for the AlphaTauri. We'll see who else is on a lap time. Looks like Frizy is on a lap time. No, he's not. He's actually invalidated. And that is, Iceman off the track. And by the looks of it, that might be qualifying done and dusted? Oh, no, no, I was wrong. We still got one more driver, and that being Days Freak, and he nearly invalidated there. Wow. But he doesn't, and now he gets a little bit of slipstream action. Where can he put that Williams? Slowest of the 14 drivers. With that, though, that is qualifying, and Yortster in the McLaren once again grabs another pole position here in Breakout Racing League. I believe his second pole position of the season. And I am correct on that. Gap between them, just over a 10th. Because I believe we're just waiting on Quick Tongue and Iceman to be finished, getting wheeled up into the garage. But we might be waiting here a little bit. So, it is Yortster on pole position, but the 116.1 ahead of Gary. Gary once again up there. That is why he's your championship leader. Stig currently lines up third, so therefore he keeps his pretty good qualifying record. We'll see if he's able to convert it once again this time around. One underdog lines up in fourth, so a pretty decent qualifying there from the AlphaTauri. He's going to need to get ahead of Gary, though, if he wants to challenge for the title here tonight. Gert in the Alfa Romeo lines up in 5th after grabbing a podium last week. We'll see if he could possibly do it again. Echo lines up in 6th. A good day for Mercedes in qualifying. Nava in 7th. Redeemer 8th. Quick Tongue in 9th. The coach rounding out the top 10. Iceman, Frizy, Rapid Clappy, and Dazed Freak. Unfortunately, just not able to get into the 10. That is your qualifying order, and just under 5 seconds separated between the drivers here tonight. A bit of a low grid, but it's still going to be an interesting race, I would say. I was getting a bit concerned there because all I saw was a black screen, but we're okay. I thought my game would have crashed, which, to be honest, wouldn't have been the first time. Okay, so a bit of a cloudy race here, but it's still going to be a dry race nonetheless here for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. We got 32 laps of this track, and obviously only one DRS zone, so that is going to play a part in terms of strategy and in terms of action, but, well, action is never too far from Tier 3. And Steg is already saying that he likes the fact that he doesn't see any rain. We had a bit of a rainy time last week in Australia, and that provided quite an interesting order. But at the end, it was still Gary that managed to take the win quite convincingly over one underdog. But yeah, it was quite an interesting race nonetheless. We had quite a few DNFs, I believe. Let me actually look at the results of that last week. Yeah, we had a total of 6 DNFs in Australia, which was quite interesting. And to confirm right now, Reptile, No Limit isn't actually in Tier 1. He's in Tier 2. So, not quite. He's almost there. But he's just a little bit off. By the way, gotta give it to No Limit. You gotta give it to No Limit. He actually won last week in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. He managed to win in what was a very crazy race. But yeah, No Limit won. No Limit won Australia, and we'll see what he can do tomorrow here at this track itself. Just waiting for everyone to finalize their setups. It's taking a good second, isn't it? Yeah, I'm aware that you crashed in Australia, Potato, and I know you're not, and I know you didn't like that because I believe that is your home track. As we are getting ready for the formation lap here tonight. I believe this is one of the only tiers that runs the formation lap, by the way, and the reason for that is because it's a little bit glitched. But hopefully that gets sorted real soon. But Tier 3, still running it. Let's look over at the tires that everyone has selected. It should be a pretty easy one-stop here tonight from a medium to the hard. Right now, majority of people have selected the medium compound tire. Echo, Nava, Quick Tongue, and Frizy all decided to go to the alternate strategy, go on to a set of hards, which, to be fair, is not that bad of a strategy in and of itself. I'm not sure what the fastest strategy theoretically is. I think it's just a matter of staying within that DRS and staying amongst the pack that is really going to decide the order. And, crucially, consistency is key. This track will punish you for the mistakes. As you can see, Stig is already going off the track there. I don't think that's really a mistake. He's just trying to get heat in his tires, and he might have just slid a little bit. But yeah, this track will punish a mistake, as we've seen many a times. And also when there's also a bit of interesting maneuvers when it comes to overtaking, such as in real life. If you guys still remember, 2021 George Russell against Valtteri Bottas. That was an interesting one, wasn't it? But yeah, nonetheless, though, it's still going to be an interesting race here tonight. I will not be surprised if it is. I'll be surprised if you have a bit of a boring race. But it's Tier 3. Tier 3 is never really boring. And, well, looks like we are going to be set for another interesting one. That is an Alpine spun round. It looks like Rapid Clappy has just managed to keep it going, though, so he is good to go, as now everyone's lining up on the grid into their grid slots. Jordster on pole, Gary on the front row, Stig in third, Underdog in fourth, Gert rounding out the top 5 in qualifying. But what's this going to look like at the end of lap 1? Only time will tell. Now the question is, who's going to get disqualified? As much as I don't like saying that, it's just from the formation lap, so it doesn't really affect much. And we got 3 people, Echo, Nava, and Iceman, so there you go. Five. 5 now. But, nonetheless, 5 red lights are on for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. 32 laps! It's lights out, and away we go. Looks like a pretty good, decent start from the Alfa Romeo. Same with the McLaren of Jordster, as he's already managed to get away from Gary there. Echo with a pretty good start there, but into turn 1, Jordster leads from Gary, from Echo, from Underdog, and then Stig. Stig having a bit of a poor start. Same with Gert and Redeemer. That's a yellow flag. That doesn't look like anybody's spun. Jordster already having a blistering lap. And he's already pulled a second away from Gary, from Echo, from Underdog. That's a yellow flag once again, though so far everyone kind of keeping it clean as of right now. Rapid Clappy further back, looking for a potential move on Frizy. He's not able to go around the outside, though. Frizy has that inside line, is able to stay ahead. The Rapid Clappy's going to try and fight it back, but he's just a little bit too far. And now Dace Freak could get a little bit interested. Meanwhile, further up ahead, that is Gert, Nava, and Stig going at it. And it looks like Stig has managed to get ahead of both drivers and manages to get himself back up into 5th. Iceman gets ahead of Quick Tongue there. Quick Tongue having a bit of a moment, though, at Aqua Minerale, and that might put him under pressure there from Frizy, and is going to put him under pressure from Frizy. Frizy trying to go around the outside. Quick Tongue has that inside line, and now Clappy's going to try and go for it around the outside, and he's managed to make it work, so really good movement there from the Alpine as he moves himself up into 12th, but leading the first lap and already in a very comfortable position right now is Jordster. He sets the fastest lap. Obviously, he led the first lap. 1.5 seconds ahead of Gary. So he is absolutely flying right now, is the McLaren from Gary, from Echo, from Underdog, from Stig. Stig, though, looking very close onto the back of one Underdog here. Like, has a little bit of a moment there out of the exit of turn 3. He's managed to keep it pretty clean, though. Let's look over at the position changes. So far, the biggest mover has been the Mercedes of Echo, from 6th, up to 3rd. Oh, and that's a bit of lag there from Stig. But he's good to go. But Echo, moving up the most positions in this race, he's moved up 3. And so far, the people that have moved down the most, Stig, Gert, and Quick Tongue. However, it's only down 2 positions, so at the end of the day, it's not all bad. Echo going a little bit wide there, and that might give Underdog a little bit of encouragement, and indeed it is, as he's going to try and go on the inside of the Mercedes. I think the Mercedes is going to let him by. Yes, he does. Underdog with a very nice move there on Echo. He moves himself up into P3. Echo down to P4. It's going to be under pressure here from the Red Bull. It's nearly 3 wide between them. Echo fighting back against one Underdog is not able to make it work, though. He managed to get ahead. Stig on the inside now of Echo. Has he got the superior traction? Yes, he does. And that is the Red Bull up into 4th. And Echo's lost 2 positions in the space of a couple corners. That is a yellow flag. Is that a Rapid Clappy? Indeed it is. Rapid Clappy having a moment. But unfortunately, he is, looks like he doesn't have any damage, so he is good to go. But unfortunately, that has ruined his race a little bit, as Gert managed to get ahead of Nava. I'm not sure what's happened there. think Nava made a mistake there. Stig with a 3-second time penalty. That's already the first time penalty of this race, and that's really going to hurt him right now. So DRS has now been enabled in this lap, and that's actually Echo managing to get ahead of Stig. Stig had a bit of a moment once again, and that's allowed. Oh, no, wait, what? Oh, never mind. It's just lag. Never mind. So Stig is still in 4th. Echo still in 5th. So far, though, everything's starting to calm down a little bit, and Broken Reptile, yeah, someone's got to show Yorster right now. He's pulled a bit of a gap and is now maintaining the gap between himself and Gary right now. Gap between them 1.3. Gary did set the fastest lap on the second lap of this race, so he is trying to gain back the time he lost, but it's going to be a bit of a tall order as Stig is on the back of one Underdog here. We're gonna go on the back of Underdog here. You can see that rather laggy Red Bull. Yeah, pretty laggy there. He has DRS now. Does the Red Bull, and it looks like he might be able to clear the AlphaTauri before they make it turn 2. Well, it's gonna be a bit tight though, because Underdog is trying to fight it back, but it's just not got the straight line speed to do so. And that is Stig up into 3rd place now. Underdog down to 4th. And Stig looking very rapid, but he has that 3-second time penalty. Battle for the lead might be heating up a little bit as Gary is starting to close in on Yorster. Gap is now under a second between those two drivers as they absolutely pulled there from Stig. They're already nearly 5 seconds ahead. So the top two really showing their pace, and Gary just trying to close down onto that McLaren ahead of him. That's Rapid Clappy retiring. That is into the pits. So Rapid Clappy already done with this race. That is the first retirement. Gary gaining some decent time there as we have a bit of a battle further back of DeCoach, Iceman, and Quicktongue. DeCoach falling down to P10 now, I believe. So he's not entirely had the best of times now. Has the Red Bull base still into the top 10. But that can still definitely change. Battle for P5, by the way. Or P4, rather. Has now started to heat up a little bit as Echo has a bit of a DRS train behind him of Gert, Nava, Redeemer. So it's a 4-car train right now. And while Echo does have DRS, he has DRS on one Underdog here. He is gaining quite massively here on the AlphaTauri. Is he going to make the lunge? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay behind for now. Does the Mercedes. So he's going to have to stay in P5 for now. He's working pretty decently there on those hard compounded tires right now is the Mercedes. So he's in a pretty decent position. But right now, if he wants to potentially grab a podium here tonight, he's going to have to try and stay within that 3-second of Stig, and Stig is pulling away from one Underdog quite massively here. So Stig clearly having superior pace over the AlphaTauri, and he's showing his hand, but Underdog still kind of there. Gap between the 1.5. Well, Underdog now gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not what the AlphaTauri wanted, as now he is the second driver to grab a penalty, so penalties are going to be interesting. Gert on the inside! He definitely thought about it. I definitely saw him have a little bit of a look there, but he goes a little bit deep. Does the Alfa Romeo, and now he's going to be under pressure from the Haas. 2 Ferrari-powered cars going through to the final set of corners. Gert has that inside. There he goes a bit too deep, and that's going to allow Nava to go for the switchback. But Nava just has to back out. Gert manages to stay ahead, though they lost a ton of time battling there. Nava, though, does have the DRS on Gert here down this main straight. Though it doesn't look like the DRS is that powerful for him, as Gert is managing to stay ahead by the time they arrive to turn 2. And yep, Gert manages to stay ahead. So either Gert's running low downforce or Nava's running high downforce. But Nava's going to go for it once again down the inside into Villeneuve. It's not quite enough. Doesn't quite have the grip to get past that Alfa Romeo. Gert stays ahead. Nava stays in 7th place. Let's not forget, though, Nava is on those hard compounded tire. Looking over, Echo starting to close in on one Underdog once again. The gap between them was outside of a second. It's now back into a second between them. So far, the closest fight, though, is the battle for 6th. That's really, yeah, this is really Nava's just pressurizing that Alfa Romeo. Gert just not having a good time on those mediums right now. The battle for the lead might be getting a little bit interesting here, as Gary has closed up on Yorster. They're both on low ERS. That is an AlphaTauri around. Though Gary has DRS on Yordster, but it looks like he just might be a little bit too far back as the Mercedes. Indeed, he is. So he's just going to have to stay behind, close in a little bit. Meanwhile, battle for fourth. Echo manages to get ahead of one Underdog. And Mercedes is now up into fourth. Underdog down into fifth. So Echo finally deciding it's his time to shine. Those hards now starting to work with him once again. He's up into fourth. And now he's going to try and chase after Stig for P3. Or he can just stay within that 3 second. So up to him, really. So far, once again, the closest battle is between Nava and Gert. These two have not really separated, but Nava just not able to make a move on Gert right now. Gert just having some pretty good straight line speed in that Alfa Romeo in comparison to the Haas. Obviously, it is equal, so it's just a matter of who's the fastest. And right now, Gert able to carry it through the straights, but through the corners, Nava has a little bit of an advantage here by the looks of it. Yeah, he pretty much does. Going to go on board here with the Haas. You can see the back of that Alfa Romeo closing in a little bit right now. He's going to have to get a really good exit out of the corner if he wants to make the move. It might be a little bit too far back. Meanwhile, battle for P4 once again going to heat up because Quick Tongue gets a 3-second time penalty. Underdog, though, is he closing up onto the back of Echo? No, he isn't. He actually isn't using his DRS here. So Underdog just playing it a little bit safe here, and he has just stayed into P5. Echo staying in P4. Remember, on those hard compound of tire. So Echo just looking a bit comfortable here. He's just minding his own business. Obviously, he doesn't need to fight if he doesn't want to because he's on that alternate strategy. And, well, if he gets damaged, that's going to absolutely ruin him. I think that is going to be pretty obvious here. I think those mediums might be starting to go off a little bit for Underdog here as he's struggling a little bit to keep up in the corners. He gets a really good exit there out of Aqua Minerali, does the AlphaTauri, so he is closing in quite a bit. Meanwhile, Redeemer actually manages to get ahead of Nava. Not sure what's happened there, but now Nava is down to 7th. He's behind 2 Alfa Romeos. What has happened to the Haas? About to look back on that later on. But right now I'm going to go back over to the battle for P4. Underdog getting a pretty decent exit there out of the final couple of corners. And he's got DRS once again. Does the AlphaTauri on the Mercedes. Echo trying to break the toe. And it looks like it actually seems to be working. Echo pulling a little bit on the straight here. Echo having some pretty good straight line speed in that Mercedes. And that seems to be helping him a little bit. That might be hurting him in the corners though. One thing's for sure is that Mercedes is looking pretty slippery. Just going to go on board at the back of Echo here, and you can see Underdog is just very close. Well, not very close, but he's pretty close. He's just trying to find a way past that Mercedes. Sorry for the audio glitch, by the way. I'm just hoping that they'll fix that at some point. As to when, I don't know. Yeah, Echo can just see a rear wing full of one Underdog here, and he's just not able to do anything with it right now. But he's just staying ahead for now. So everyone's just kind of evenly spread out now. Yordster still leaning from Gary. Those two looking quite comfortable in the lead, though Stig has managed to close in a little bit on the two in front of them. The gap was around 5 seconds. It's now down to 3.6 between Stig and Gary right now. So Stig is starting to close in a little bit, so that the Red Bull showing a little bit of pace as that's Quick Tongue that has left the session. I'll try and get it back in as soon as possible, so just give me one moment here. There we go, invite him back. Hopefully he'll be able to join as soon as possible. Yeah, Yordster just having a bit of a comfortable race right now. And, well, he is on the medium compounded tire, so he will have to pit. If he were to pit now, he would come in between that gap of DeCoach and Frizy, so he'd still be in a shot of points right now, is the McLaren. And same with Gary as well. So I think Gary just might be following Yordster here to pretty much throughout this entire race, because they're on the same strategy, but the question is who thinks about diving it in first. Because let's not forget here, for the strategy, when you come out of the pits on a set of hard compounded tires, they're going to be cold off the start. They're going to be very cold, and that is going to make the difference between the overcut and the undercut, as if it really depends on how quickly you can warm up those Pirellis. And, well, yeah, again, that's just going to make the difference. By the way, Gary, once again, has DRS on Yordster. Doesn't look like, though, he's going to be able to close in. The gap between them was 8/10 by the time they reached the end of the straight. He only gained around 2/10 there. And obviously, Gary looking a little bit low on ERS right now. You can see the rear wing blinking. Same with Yordster, to be fair. They're pretty low on ERS, are the two drivers. So they're kind of in the same level playing field, and they're just kind of stuck, really. They're stuck in their own little area right now, and, well, can't exactly blame them, as they are quite comfortable in the lead of this race. Echo, once again, under pressure. Oh, that's a bit of a moment there from the Mercedes. That might give Underdog a little bit of encouragement there. That little bit of rear-end squirrel, as the coach gets a 3-second time penalty. And that is actually Dave's Freak managing to get past Frizy there. This is quite an interesting battle going on for P11. As it looks like Dave's Freak has managed to stay ahead of both drivers, and that's Quick Tongue's AI. Trying to go on the inside of Frizy here. Frizy, though, staying ahead. Yeah, a bit of a battle going on over here for P11 right now. Obviously, they are quite a ways off the points, and, well, they haven't pitted in this race, which hasn't helped, so they just haven't really had the pace here tonight. Maybe a safety car would happen? I don't know. Well, anything can happen. We'll just have to find out. We now have a DRS train once again, though Underdog is going to quickly break that DRS train, as he actually is the first one to dive into the pits. We finally have someone that's going to pit in this race. It's going to be the AlphaTauri here. And it looks like it's going to be the set of hard competent tire there for the AlphaTauri, and indeed it is. So fresh set of hards for one Underdog. He's gonna have to try and warm up those Pirellis as soon as possible. As I said, it's going to make the difference in the overcut or undercut here tonight. He's going to come out of the pits. He's going to be easily ahead of Dave's Freak by the time he exits. He's going to have to take it really easy. I mean, you can pretty much see on the dash that the tires are looking pretty cold. You can see him just understeering quite a bit here. And, yeah, that's just going to make the difference as we actually have a yellow flag, and that's Frizy around. Ferrari having a moment at the exit of turn 4, and his race has really gone from bad to worse, and that might be a little bit of porpoising there, and indeed it is. So porpoising issues and just traction issues for the Ferrari. It's not gone well for him. Gary's starting to close in on Yordster once again. He's closed in a little bit more now. So I think Gary might be saving a little bit more of his ERS in relation to the McLaren. Actually, that's exactly what he's done, is he's not really blinking. Meanwhile, Yordster is. So Gary has a little bit of an advantage here. Iceman into the pits. Echo with a 3-second time penalty, as he's actually under pressure here from Gert, and Gert manages to get ahead of the Mercedes. I completely missed that gap, but Gert manages to squeeze his way past the Mercedes. Gert now up into 4th. Echo down into 5th. Dave's Freak is now into the pits as well. Iceman, when he comes out to the pits, he's going to come out in P11, though quite in a bit of clear space there as the Ferrari. Yeah, so he's in a bit of a clear area here. Frizy manages to jump Dave's Freak, manages to get ahead of Dave's Freak, though Dave's Freak has pitted as well. So lap 13 of this race, well, coming near to lap 14, who's going to pit is the question. The top two still in a world of their own. Who is going to be the first one to bite the bullet? It's going to be Gary. Gary dives into the pits. The Mercedes calling it. They get the 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is not what he wanted. Pulls up into this grid spot. That's going to be the set of mediums for the Mercedes. But that 5-second penalty, that might cost him. That might cost him here tonight. That is also Redeemer into the pits as well. Same with Stig. So the Red Bull and the Alfa Romeo now choosing to dive into the pits as well. And yeah, we'll just have to see as that's actually Gert around. Gert spun at turn 4. Those mediums might be starting to drop off now for the Alfa Romeo. He's actually got front wing damage as well. Could that have been a bit of a moment between him and Echo? Because they were close on track. Could they have possibly collided there? We'll just have to find out, but that's not the race that he would have wanted. That's actually one Underdog that spun round. Underdog having a moment. He was fighting for 4th. And now he has fallen down behind Redeemer. Not something that the AlphaTauri wanted to happen. And now he's got a little bit of time to catch up. He does have that fresh set. Meanwhile, Yortster has decided to dive into the pits, so he's responded to Gary going into the pits, and he decides to go in now. Set of hards there for the McLaren. Where does he come out, though, in relation to Gary? Echo now takes the lead of this race from Nava. And it looks like he might be able to stay ahead, though Gary is closing in. To coach and Gert into the pits. Gary does have that DRS. It's going to be really tight, actually, as Gary, he has a much warmer set of hards. He is on the back of that McLaren. The cold tires for the McLaren. Warm tires for Gary. Gary squeezes his way past, and Gary now is provisionally into the lead of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. I'm saying that you can't rejoin. I did send you an invite. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure if you got that or not, but if you need me, I'll send you another invite. Hopefully you'll be able to join this time around. But now, Gary is into the lead of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Nava with a 3-second time penalty. I almost said 2 seconds. There we go. A 3-second time penalty, but Gary into lead, but he has that 5-second time penalty. Let's not forget that. Gary has 5 seconds now. He's going to have to try and pull away from Yortster. Obviously, Yortster had to warm up his tires on this lap. Gap between them now is 1.8. So Yortster can theoretically stay behind, though. He's going to want to close up onto the back of that Mercedes, no doubt about it. Is Gary going to take the fastest lap here, though? No, he doesn't. I was a bit disappointed there. I'm just kidding. So we're almost halfway through this race already. So this race is pretty much flown by, as Quicktongue has now joined back. So good to see that he is back into the car now. Yeah, we're nearly done the first half of this race. It's pretty much flown by. It's been quite a interesting race. Not really the race I would have expected. Though anything can still change. It is Yortster slowly starting to close in now onto Gary. Gap between them now is 1.3. Just looking over, everyone's just kind of evenly spread out right now. So far, your the provisional standings? Sure, yeah, standings, barring time penalties right now. So Gary, with him being third right now, obviously he will jump up to first later on. But with him being third, he'll gain, well, with Underdog being in 7th right now, he'll gain a total of 9 points between him and Underdog. Though Yortster, let's not forget, he's not too far behind either. So he'll gain a bit of points on Underdog as well. Though Gary's still quite comfortably in the championship in this stage of the race. And you're asking how they're blinking? Well, halfway through this race, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're blinking. Obviously, they're trying to catch up to their nearest competitor. So it's not surprising. The Yortster slowly still trying to close in onto the back of Gary, though Gary, he's at a disadvantage, of course, because he's on those, like, obviously he is on a set of hards, but he has that 5-second time penalty. That's going to make the difference, as Yortster is now closed in to within a second. And a little bit of a cheat code here. If you look, you can see the ERS levels of Yortster. He actually used a little bit of battery there, and he is pretty low there, is the McLaren. Still closing in, though, on Gary. Gary going a little bit wide there. That might not entirely help him. He gets a pretty decent exit. Yortster, though, first time he's had DRS on Gary. First time he's had DRS this entire race, I believe, and he is closing. That looks like it's not going to be enough on to make a move. No, it's not. He's going to have to stay behind for now, but he does have more grip than the Mercedes by the looks of it at this stage of the race, even though the difference between them is only 1 lap older. So, yeah, Yortster maybe just a little bit more confident right now in terms of traction. So far, Echo, Nava, and Quick-Tongue have yet to pit in this race, and same with Frizy. So those 4 drivers have yet to pit in this race. We'll see if they'll pit later on, but Echo, if Echo were to pit now, I believe, if we look over, he'll come out at around P6. I believe P6. So Echo, kind of in a comfortable position. He might be under pressure from Redeemer, but he will be on those set of medium compounded tire. So Echo looking quite nice in this race now. And while he's been hoping for a podium this entire season, right now that's not looking to be the case, but you never know. You never know. We'll just have to see how this race unfolds through the second half of the season. What? Sorry. Second half of this race. Oy, oy, oy. As that's actually Nava now going into the pits. I missed that. That is a set of mediums there for the Haas. And that is going to see him go to the end. And it looks like he might be able to get ahead of Redeemer by the time he comes out of the pits. Redeemer going down the main straight. You can see the Alfa Romeo right there. Nava coming out of the pits. Here comes Redeemer. It looks like Nava has managed to get ahead. But he has a set of cold mediums right now. So Redeemer has that little bit more grip. Doesn't look like, though, he's going to be able to close in. Well, he is closing in, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. You can see the back of that Haas, and he's thinking, oh, man, I wish I was ahead. But like I said, though, he does have that grip difference. That's Frizy into the pits, by the way. He's gone onto a set of medium, so it's... Yeah, that's like I said. Most people are going to go medium hard or hard and medium. That looks to be the case here tonight. No sign of the Red Bull softs. Unless something happens later on. I kind of highly doubt that, as this race has been kind of tame. For this being your normal Tier 3, it's been a pretty tame race nonetheless. So far, the closest battle, once again, is between Nava, Redeemer, one underdog, and that is a 3-way fight as Gert manages to get past the coach there. The coach having a moment at Aqua Minerale, and Gert just managing to slip by. Redeemer does have DRS on Nava just about. He's going to pull away from one underdog, though one thing's for sure is that Nava has those mediums warmed up more now, so he's going to pull away from Redeemer here. He's already pulled. He's already pulled pretty much 3/10 in that chicane alone there has the Haas. And, well, he's pretty much pulled out of a second now, so there you go. Nava having pretty good pace now. I won't be surprised if later on he might set a fastest lap. Yeah, this is usually not your typical Tier 3 race. I think we can all agree with that. So, yeah. Just a little bit of a calm one. A little bit of a quiet one. It might change, though. Yortster still on the back of Gary here. And Redeemer losing touch of Nava is now going to be under pressure from one underdog. Nava with the fastest Sector 2 of this race. One underdog gets another 3-second time penalty, and that's now 6 seconds for the AlphaTauri. Let's look over at the penalties. So far, Echo has a 3-second. Gary with 5. Stig with 3. Nava with 3. Underdog with 6. Quick-Tongue with 3. And the coach with 3 seconds. Nava now sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:18.7, and I have a feeling that might not be challenged in this race. So far, your leader still right now is currently Echo. He has a bit... he's pretty comfortable where he is. He does have to pit in this race. Obviously, it's mandatory. It's mandatory he had to pit, and that's actually Nava. That's Nava that's gone off. What's happened to the Haas? Nava having a moment. possibly gone wide, brushed into the gravel. That's not what he wanted. He's now fallen down to 7th. Frizy with a 3-second time penalty, and that's not going to help his race. Is all the way down to P13 right now. Is the Ferrari? It's not been a day to remember for Frizy here tonight. Yordster, by the way, has closed in quite a bit on Gary here. So Gary could potentially be struggling a little bit, and Yordster not struggling by the looks of it. So Yordster has the DRS on the Mercedes. He is gaining. It looks like it's going to be enough by the time the Ministries turn 2. Gary defends the inside. Yordster is going to try to go around the outside. Gary, though, breaks late enough. A good defending there from the Mercedes. He manages to stay ahead of Yordster and maintain 2nd place in this race. Yordster just having to stay behind that Mercedes for once again another lap. What you mean by calm before the storm? I'm not sure what you mean by that. As Quicktone gets a 5-second time penalty. That's not what he wanted for this race. And now he is making his pit stop, and he's going to come out, I would say P11, maybe P12. Not entirely been the AlphaTauri's day, as he still has yet to score points in this season. Meanwhile, the other AlphaTauri of one underdog just kind of staying behind Redeemer here in this race. And, ooh, bit of a slide there. Bit of a slide there from the AlphaTauri. He's managed to keep it together, though. That is Echo into the pits. And unlike his teammate, he doesn't get a speeding penalty, and that's going to be the set of medium compounded tires there for the Mercedes. That is going to be easily to the end of this race. Where does the Mercedes come out in relation to Redeemer, to one underdog, and to Nava? He's going down the pits. Redeemer is now just entering the main straight. Iceman with a 3-second time penalty. Echo, he might be able to get ahead of Redeemer. It looks like he is going to be ahead. Indeed, he is. So Echo managing to stay ahead of that pack, though he has cold tires. He has quite a bit of a gap here to Redeemer, though. So Echo has managed to maintain his position in 4th. Redeemer has to stay within that 3-second gap. That might be a bit difficult, though, because Echo's going to be a lot quicker now at this stage of the race. By the time he gets those tires warmed up, Redeemer closing in a little bit, though, with the cold tires of Echo and the more warmed up tires of Redeemer. I think that's going to be a fight not worth fighting. Back over to the lead of this race now. And Gary just still has... Gary's now retained the lead of this race. I believe the Mercedes has led every single race now. Nope, never mind. Well, yeah, they have led at least a lap in every single race. Especially Gary. Though Yordster is going to try and take back that lead. He doesn't want the Mercedes to lead anymore. He is gaining with that DRS. Isn't going to be enough to make a move. He pulls to the right-hand side, but he's just not alongside it enough to make a move. So he's going to have to stay behind once again of the Mercedes. He has a little bit of a look on the exit, but he's just too far behind. So that McLaren just having to stay behind for once again another lap. As Nava manages to get past one underdog down the main straight. Underdog didn't have DRS. Nava did. And that looked like a pretty easy move there for the Haas. He moves himself back up into 6th. Underdog down to 7th. It's not entirely been the best of days there for the AlphaTauri. He's just not entirely had the pace to where he probably would have expected. Me saying mid-com for tier 3 race if it's going to kick off soon. Well, you never know. It could, maybe not. I don't know. But if you want a bit of excitement, well, might as well say something. You know, bit of commentator's curse. You know, I've already had a couple moments of the commentator's curse, so it wouldn't surprise me if it happened again. Nava now starting to close in on Redeemer here. Echo's just absolutely pulled away. That's actually... No, that's Redeemer around. Redeemer spun round at turn 18. And now he's fallen down from 5th down to 7th. Not what the Alfa Romeo wanted. Doesn't have front wing damage though, but that is not what not what Alfa Romeo wanted, as they were looking quite nice at the first part of this race. It's all falling apart. Speaking of falling apart, that is a yellow flag, and I believe that's Frizy around. Indeed it is. And the Haas just not... Haas? Sorry, that's not a Haas. The Ferrari. Simply just not having a good time. Both Ferraris, really, though. Iceman is in the points still. He is under pressure from Gert. Look over on board of that battle. Gert very close onto the back of that Ferrari right now. Gert wanting to kind of bounce back after the issues that he's had in this race, and obviously he looks like he has a lot more grip in relation to Iceman here. Let's look over at the tires, actually. He has 2-lap fresher hards. I don't think that'll make that big a difference in grip, but he definitely does have more confidence, I guess you could say, on the loud pedal in relation to Iceman here, and that's really been the difference. That's a yellow flag. That is Frizy. And that's actually a yellow sector 1, 2, and 3. And it's a safety car. Frizy's lost his front wing. Oh boy. Broken Reptile? I think you got what you wanted here. Things are going to kick off now. Safety car is out. Oh boy. Iceman's already dived into the pits. Same with Gert. Same with Dakota. So Dakota gets a 5-second time penalty. I believe everyone's going to go on to softs here. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're going to have an interesting last couple of laps, aren't we? I think so. There we go. Gary into the pits. Yordster also into the pits. Stig might follow suit here. Yes, he does. What does Echo do, though? Stig gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's not what he wanted. Yordster. Well, it says he's ahead. I think he's just... his pit box is simply ahead. Well, Echo goes into the pits. Nava into the pits. Same with one underdog. Though Yordster has managed to jump ahead of Gary, though. But the reason for that, Gary obviously had that 5-second time penalty. Let's not forget that. Gary had that 5-second. He's had to serve it. But now he is level pegging with the McLaren. So now it's going to be an all-out battle. These two were just pretty much in a league of their own. But now... everyone's going to bunch up now behind this safety car. We're going to only have like a handful of laps by the time the safety car comes in, because we're going to have to wait a bit for Frizy to line up behind, as he's the last person. And obviously he doesn't have a front wing right now. I don't think he pitted either. Did he pass the pit lane? Not sure. Yeah, everyone's going to bunch up behind the Aston Martin safety car. And well, that is going to bring into the equation of time penalties here. This is where the time penalties are really going to make a difference, because Yordster and Gary, they do not have a single time penalty. I don't know the situation of warnings, but I only know the fact that they do not have a time penalty in this race. Stig has 8 seconds, obviously with a 3-second and a 5-second that he got for speeding in the pit lane. Echo has a 3-second time penalty. Same with Nava. Underdog with 6 seconds. That's really going to hurt him in this race. Redeemer doesn't have a time penalty, though, so he could potentially gain from this if he just keeps his nose out of trouble. Iceman with 3 seconds. So it might jump a couple of people, but it's definitely going to hurt him. Gert doesn't have any time penalties. Both Alfa Romeos looking kind of pretty now. They're kind of sitting pretty in this race. And actually, that is Stig who's fallen down. Or no, that's just a bit of lag, isn't it? That might have been a bit of lag. Well, he is ahead of Echo. So yeah, it's just a little bit of lag. Going back over to time penalties, though, Days Freak does not have a time penalty in this race either. DeCoach with 8 seconds, Quick Tongue with 3, Frizy with 3 seconds, and Frizy isn't pitting. Frizy is not pitting. He's staying out without a front wing. Maybe it just feels as if the car is more stable with a front wing. I don't know. A porpoising Ferrari. So I believe the safety car might be in just a couple laps time. So I think it might come in around lap 29, lap 30, in which case we're going to have either 3 or 2 laps of racing. It's going to be an interesting last couple of laps, that's for sure. Looking over at the tires, right now everybody is on a set of softs, except for Frizy. The Frizy's gone into the pit, so he is going to go onto a set of softs in this race. And to change his front wing for good measure. Obviously, you kind of need to change your front wing. So this is going to have a bit of championship implications, I think, here. We're just going to have to find out come the end of this Grand Prix who is going to be able to conquer this track. Will it be Yordster? Will it be Gary? Or will it be anybody else? We will just have to find out, as the safety car is going to stay out for another lap by the looks of it. It's going to get bad real quick. I would not be surprised if it does. Obviously, with it being Tier 3, it's a pretty good chance. It is a pretty decent chance. We'll just have to see. And actually, that is Stig falling back. Something happened to the Red Bull. He might be lagging. He is lagging, and oh, thought about going into the pits, but he didn't. But now Stig, nope, Stig is into the pits. That is a 5-second time penalty for removal right there for the Red Bull. So that's what it is. He's gonna be 13th maybe by the time he leaves the pits. But that's gonna have. This is gonna be an interesting race, that's for sure. So who knows who's gonna be on the podium? Who knows who's gonna be on the top step? We just simply don't know how this race is gonna go. Not sure what you're thanking me for. If it's for inviting you back to the lobby, then you are certainly welcome as well. You can still definitely you're still definitely gonna be in the mix here, Quick Tongue. I will not be surprised. We'll just have to see what comes out at the end of this race. But we're gonna get 3 laps of racing for sure, by the looks of it, as Frizy and Stig are slowly starting to close in onto these guys. So safety car should be in on this lap, so it will be Yordster's decision as to when the race will resume. Obviously, you can't overtake until you cross the start-finish straight, which comes out rather quickly, perhaps a little bit quicker than you think, so it's going to be a bit of mind games, I think, here tonight. Well, tonight? Well, yeah, there's going to be a bit of mind games nonetheless, as the safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. So, Yordster, Gary, Echo, Nava, Underdog, your top 5. The Redeemer, Gert, Dazed Freak are the only ones outside the top 5 without a time penalty. We'll just have to see 3 laps of racing. Who is going to take the checker flag as Yordster is now starting to lead the pack, and the race has now officially resumed, and that might have caught out Gary a little bit. He's now going to be a little bit under pressure. There's a huge gap forming further back, but Yordster leads from Gary, from Echo. Yordster able to hold on to the lead from Gary, from Echo. There's a bit of switching further back, as I believe that's Underdog managing to get ahead of Iceman, and indeed it is Underdog managing to move himself up into 6th place, and now he's going to try and pressurize Redeemer for P5. Gert managing to get ahead of Iceman here as well. Iceman struggling a little bit here, and he could be under pressure once again from Quick Tongue. Quick Tongue on the inside. Can he make the move on the Ferrari? That's a bit of contact there between them. But it looks like they managed to come out unscathed. The Quick Tongue still managing to hold on, but Iceman has that outside line. He's able to stay ahead. Meanwhile, Underdog was looking for a move on Redeemer, but is not able to do anything yet. So he's just going to have to stay behind. Redeemer's just going to have to stay exactly where he is if he wants any shot of potentially grabbing a podium, because he's still within a podium contention here tonight. Granted, he doesn't get any time penalties. We'll have to find out, but Gary's still trying to get onto the back of Yordster here. And same with Echo, same with Nava. The top 2 starting to pull away once again. And so far, everyone's just kind of keeping it rather clean. Needless to say, there was a bit of shuffling further back, but Yortster now takes the fastest lap of this race. He's once again under pressure from Gary. Gary trying to close in onto the McLaren here. Actually, I don't think actually, thinking about it, we're not going to get DRS. Because the DRS activation is not until technically lap 4, as Underdog managed to get past Redeemer. That is indeed on track. Redeemer now might be struggling a little bit here, as Stig has managed to get ahead of Days Freak. Redeemer's trying to fall back a little bit in this race, and that might hurt him. We'll just have to find out come the checkered flag. Gary now starting to fall back from Yortster here. There's quite a bit of fighting further back as well. I'm not entirely sure what to look at. But so far, the top 3 now are starting to separate in this race. Underdog outside of that 1 second from Nava, and that is going to hurt him. We'll just have to see. I don't know. I simply don't know how this race is going to end. Frizy with a 3-second time penalty, and that has not gone his way. It looks like he might not have a shot at points. Gary had a bit of a moment there out of the chicane. That's going to put him under pressure from his teammate of Echo. I think Echo just might want to stay behind right now. So Yortster might just be able to claim this race. Granted, nothing else happens in this race. As Nava now grabs the fastest lap of this race, he's going to try and pressurize Echo for P3, but Nava just doesn't have that DRS that he also wants. He's trying to give it absolutely everything to close in. Gary closing in on Gert once again. That Mercedes looking awfully close. Stig with the 3-second time penalty. The Iceman has retired from this race. He's crashed at exit turn 4, and that is his race done. And now he's not going to have a shot at points. Quick Tongue and Sticker going at it. Gary still trying to close in onto the back of Yortster here. It might be a little bit too late, though. Oh, he's trying to push everything. The Yortster, bit slow, out of Aqua Minerali. This could be Gary's chance. He's looking for a move around the outside of the chicane. Yortster defends the inside. Gary, though, is going to try and go for the switchback out of the chicane. He's trying to go for the move. Redeemer gets a 3-second time penalty. So that's going to hurt him. Gary on the inside through the final couple corners. Yortster has that outside line. Gary makes the move at the final couple of corners. And the Mercedes is going to make it 2-2. And Gary wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix out of absolutely nowhere. Yortster will have to settle for second place and make it a double podium for Mercedes, as Echo will finish in third. Gert managed to steal fourth, Nava fifth. Wow, it was a last lap overtake for the win, and Gary used everything he got, and oh boy did it work. Well, there you have it. Your race winner, and it's 2 in a row for the Mercedes as he once again extends his lead. Gary wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix from Yortster. But it's a Mercedes double podium here tonight. Echo will manage to grab that third place and his first podium of the season. It was a bit of a simple race at the beginning, but at the end, it all unfolded, and it unfolded in the way of Mercedes. And here you have it, your race results, as I shall get the drivers in for their interviews. As it's Gary that takes the win here in Emilia Romagna. Well, in Imola. You know what I mean. But Yortster takes second place. Echo will grab third. Gert in fourth. Nava in fifth. Redeemer sixth. And by the way, Nava grabbed the fastest lap of the race. Underdog in seventh. Quick Tongue eighth. There's Freak in ninth. Stig rounding out the top 10. Frizy and DeCoach, unfortunately, not able to grab any points. And we lost Iceman and Rapid Clappy from this race. What an interesting end to that race. Just when you thought that things were going to calm down a little bit, very much proven wrong. I believe we're just waiting on Gary to join us. So I'll try and get him in. Oh, I am connecting. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not. Can someone just check that for me, please? I'm not entirely sure. Hold on. Okay, so I do have confirmation that I am being heard, so I'm just having weird moments. Nonetheless, though, we're good now, and I believe every driver has joined us here for interviews, so why don't we get this underway and start with third place, Echo. It was quite an interesting race. You were the only driver to... Well, you were one of the few drivers... Giving yourself a round of applause, there you go. You were one of the few drivers that went onto the alternate strategy, and it seemed to work out quite a bit. You were in the top 5 positions, and, well, that last couple laps, safety car has definitely benefited. And obviously with a couple of drivers grabbing a time penalty here and there, you managed to grab your first podium of the season, and also wrapping up a double podium for Mercedes, but nonetheless, your first podium in the season. How do you feel?
My bad, my headset messed up. But
It's all good.
My god, I can't believe I actually pulled that off. What was your question again? My headset. I'm sorry.
Just tell us how you feel about that race and how that race went for you, really.
I'm not gonna lie. I will be lying to y'all if I said a tear did not come out my fucking eye. After seeing the podium 3 times this season, just go right from my hand to finally being on this to make it a double Mercedes podium. It feels amazing, and it feels good to be back on the podium for BRL. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it definitely has been a long time, but nonetheless, you managed to grab the podium, and, well, congratulations to you. Next week, though, we go over to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Do you possibly try and replicate that again, or do you expect that to be a bit of a struggle for you?
Oh no, I'm definitely gonna try to replicate it because Azerbaijan is one of my best street circuits, like the most confident street circuit I have in me. So I feel
Relatable.
like I can really push it again to make it another double Mercedes podium. Right now, I'm just playing the team game, trying to get points for our team.
And, well, it's definitely worked out in your case. So, once again, congratulations to you on your first podium of the season. With that, though, we shall move on to the second place man of this race, that being of Yordster. And, Yordster, you had quite a bit of a battle between yourself and Gary, especially on the last couple of laps. You were trying to fend off that Mercedes, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out. Last lap overtake on the last couple of corners. That must have been so devastating. But still, nonetheless, though, you still managed to grab P2 in this race. But, yeah, just tell us how that was.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing good qualifying, so it's just a matter of trying to convert that to race pace. And I figured once I got smarter that Gary and I would eventually go at it. And we did tonight, and I seen him get a 5-second penalty. And as I just tried to stick with him, just stayed in his DRS zone. And I didn't really want to win like that, though. Like, I wanted to get ahead of him and, like, prove that I can beat him on the track. So I wasn't, like, upset that his penalty got cleared with the safety car. That's how I wanted it to end, was, you know, him and I on fresh tires and just going at it. Unfortunately, I made a couple of mistakes, you know, on the last lap, and he's, you know, perfect, calm and cool, and took advantage of it, and that was that, unfortunately. So, yeah, hopefully next time I'm able to stay a little calmer and finish it. But we'll see.
Yeah, it was definitely very hard fought, and, well, you definitely gave it your all, and just missed out. Next week, though, at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, are you going to try and stick it up to Gary and just try and take that win?
Unfortunately, I won't be able to make next week, but the following week in Canada, I plan on doing the same tonight. Like, I'm glad that we didn't get a safety car, because he can manage tires really good, like our safety car early. And he usually pits early and takes the hards, and he makes them last. And I just can't do that. So I'm glad that the race went, you know, good. It's obviously I would have rather to win, but I'm still happy with how things went. I never got neither one of us got a time penalty other than that one that he got cleared. So that's as perfect as you can get it on my end. And he was just, at the end of the day, he was just better. So I just got to be better at Canada, because that's a track that you can really rack up the track limit penalties pretty quick, especially in Sector 1 and Sector 3.
Yeah, that is definitely very true. We'll just have to see when we go over to Canada in, I would say 3 weeks, because we have a break week after Azerbaijan, but yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'll still be there. So, yeah, I figure I can keep up with Gary, and I want to keep, I want to make it hard for him. Like, he's won this before, and I really want to challenge him. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll definitely just have to wait and see. But once again, congratulations to you on another podium. Just one step closer to that win.
Yeah.
Hopefully that happens soon. But we shall now move on to the winner of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And, well, Gary, what a way to do it. After pretty much being in the lead, like near the lead of this race the entire time. Obviously that 5 second didn't exactly help you, but thanks to that safety car, you managed to get rid of it. And with that mistake that Yortster had at that chicane, that was your opportunity, and oh boy did you take it. And well, on the last couple of corners, you managed to take the win here in Imola, your second win in a row, and still the only driver to finish on the podium in every single race. But just tell us how that race went for you.
Yeah, like I said, like last week, Johnston makes it so hard for me to keep his pace without burning through me ERS. I was constantly out of his DRS and then trying to push to get back in it and leaving me with nothing and going out of it. Like I say, he really pushed it and made it hard, and unfortunately, like I say, I got the 5 second penalty. It struck me down, and obviously I did a bit of hard defending, trying to stay in front, just so in the case of a safety car, I don't lose too much time. And like I say, even Stick, he came close behind, but I think he pushed it too hard and got 5 second on the SC pit. Obviously, Echo, absolute blinding race, started on the hard, in the party, great comms, had Shamrock going on, and the last few corners were coming up to the final lap. I seen George blinking as he was coming into the final corner, and at that point I knew it was time to, like I say, I was trying to keep as much as I could in reserve, and at that point I had 60%, and that's final lap, it was go time, do as much as I could. Fortunately, like I say, great racer, wheel to wheel, he left me the gap. In retrospect, I think he could have closed the door and made it a lot harder for me and took it, but like I say, he left the room, and obviously on the inside you've got a quicker turn, quicker line, and then like I say, it was just, unfortunately he couldn't come back on the next lap. But I enjoyed it, it was great racing. Like I say, that's what it's about, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely great racing indeed, and you're pretty much proving that you are a force to be reckoned with. Next week, Azerbaijan Grand Prix, you've already taken 4 podiums in a row, 2 wins in a row. Are you going to try and make it 5 and 3?
I'm always going to push, and like I say, I don't want to make it easy for the other guys. I want them to feel like I say, great words from Jaws today. I think he's looking at me in a different light, because I'm by far perfect, sorry. But yeah, like I say, he's an absolute gem, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him when he returns in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to find out come next week in a few weeks' time. But once again, congratulations to you in your second win of the season and your win at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And once again, congratulations to Yortster and Echo on grabbing 2nd and 3rd, respectively. With that, though, that is going to wrap up Tier 3 here tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow for Tier 1 and Tier 2, where they race around Imola, and then next week, it's the streets of Baku, starting with Realistic on Thursday, then once again, same time, same drivers, a whole nother challenge proposed, and oh boy, it's going to be one heck of a challenge. But from me, that is everything. Good day, good night, see you tomorrow, and see you in a week's time once again when we arrive